Hi, I'm David Leray. How would you like to generate more leads, referrals, and income by doing less prospecting and at the same time enhance your credibility and reputation in your local real estate market? Sounds almost too good to be true, but it is true. I call it macro prospecting, and it leverages the power of publicity. Let me share with you 3 macro prospecting activities you can do right away to get started. First, host an informal or formal meeting with your friends, neighbors, or even people you don't know, and present a useful real estate topic that could either save or make them money. This raises your credibility in your local community, generating more referrals and leads. A while back, you could have conducted a presentation on the homebuyer tax credit. It was a hot topic, and it would have attracted a very large audience. Here's another macro prospecting activity you can do right away. Write a blog. If you have the time, write a daily blog, but weekly or even monthly will suffice. The key to being perceived as a local expert is to write about pertinent real estate issues. Stay away from landscaping and remodeling tips. Focus on relevant topics like the direction of home values or the impact of new government housing programs on home sales. Your blog's serious content will signal to prospects that you're indeed a local expert. Another activity you can do right away is to get some media coverage. Perhaps that's the most powerful of the macro prospecting tools. A single quote in a local newspaper is likely to be read by thousands of people. To learn about obtaining local media coverage, let me introduce you to the top real estate media expert in the nation, Steve Cook. As Vice President of Public Relations for the National Association of Realtors over this past decade, Steve has more experience working the media than anyone else in the industry. In other words, Steve is an authority. Steve, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate your comments.
It's my pleasure, David.
Let's start with, we've got a real estate agent, and that agent wants to establish a relationship with the media in their local marketplace. How do they do it?
You know, news directors, editors in every local market in the country are looking for experts who can talk about what's going on with real estate in their local areas. So there's tremendous opportunities. It's not only a great idea, it's also a great way to build your business.
And let's say that this agent wants to establish an ongoing relationship with the media. They're in small town USA. What steps do they go through?
You know, when you start out dealing with journalists, you really have to go to them with a really good story idea. And one way to do that is to look for what's going on in terms of national trends in the real estate business. It might be something having to do with first-time buyers or with short sales or anything else that might be happening. And then what you do is you piggyback into that story information about what's going on locally. They love that. So you can go to that reporter with the 3 things that they're going to need to put the story together. A story idea, an expert opinion, which you provide as the real estate expert, and then finally, consumers, people you're working with, your clients who are buying and selling property in the marketplace.
That makes a lot of sense. Now let's say that you want to establish an ongoing relationship with the media so that an agent can get quoted not just once every 5 years, but on an ongoing basis.
You know, David, that's the real payoff. You know, an occasional story here and there is fine, but it's the repetition, it's the constant appearance in the news that really does build your business. You build credibility and you build relationships with these reporters. You begin to understand what they're looking for, and they start talking to you about stories they're thinking about in the future so that you can participate in more and more stories that are going on.
Let's get to the top of the mountain. For most agents, you know, it's great to get a quote in a newspaper, but what if, can they get a quote in the radio or particularly local TV?
You know, the fact of the matter is that there's more opportunities for most real estate professionals with radio and television than there is with newspapers in any particular local market. You might have just one daily newspaper or one weekly business paper, but you'll have 3 or 4 different television news stations and perhaps 2 or 3 radio stations who have local news as well. If you work with those broadcast outlets, you might find there's opportunities to become an ongoing source and to even have your own commentary on the air. So there's really a lot of opportunities out there in broadcast as well as print.
Steve, thanks a lot. I really do think that you've given that message to agents that it is possible to establish a good media relationship, take advantage of it, and really macro prospect where you're exposing yourself to many, many potential prospects in their local marketplace. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thanks for viewing this video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of our video series. I want to give you at no cost our exclusive media guide for real estate agents written by Steve Cook. In time, you'll learn that macro prospecting is one of the many elements of a fresh new approach to growing a real estate business to real profitability. Please click on the link below to download the most powerful guide for improving your credibility, reputation, and income potential. Until our next meeting, I wish you great success. You're on your way.